Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. Okay, I wanted to show you the journal that I made from the Pen Pal packs that went out with the beautiful fabric. I really like this journal. So it's completely cardboard once again. And yeah, you can see the cardboard through here. Layers of fabric. Let's go ahead and open it like this so you can see the outside. I love seeing this black thread up and down the spine. That's where the signatures were put in with the sewing machine. And no, they're not perfectly straight. You can't get them perfectly straight when you're working with something like this and just putting it under the sewing machine. I do like working with cardboard because it'll bend. You can roll it around this way if these flutes are running, you know, up and down. So you can see all this beautiful fabric. I did use some that I already had in my supplies, which is, you know, like the cheesecloth and different kinds of muslin. I used the fabric from the kit to make fabric flowers. Right under here is a layer, this bottom one, where I actually made almost like a pillowcase. I cut out a circle and sewed it together so that it had a nice seam and then turned it inside out. And then the next layer is a circle that's unraveling all the way around. And then of course I just made a regular fabric flower to go in the center. And they are all stitched. They're all stitched to this bottom layer right here. And then they're glued to this piece of handmade paper that was stitched to the front of the journal. So let me put this the way it's actually really supposed to be seen. This is just a piece of metal that I found in a parking lot. It looks like part of a nail or a really big piece of not even wire. I mean, it's substantial, and it was bent and it was in a parking lot, and I thought if somebody runs over that, that's not going to be good. So I just sewed it onto the front of this, just a rusty, grungy metal. There's another fabric flower here with a favorite button in the center. Here is one of the watch pieces sort of hanging in this little side pocket. One of the postcards that was in the pack is in here. And then you can see that I sewed in the pages with fabric strips. And again, on this one, just like the last one, some of the pages are it's just one piece of paper on one strip of fabric. And then I just sewed that strip of fabric in. I tried to stick with the same color palette pretty much. There are a few things that are a little bit off, but that's okay. There's the wedding lace, and just where I had stamped birdsong on a piece of fabric, some more handmade paper and lace trim, and there's just an ink stamp. Some of the flower petals here, I just used some Mod Podge to put one right above her hair. More little pieces of the lace. And then if we take these out, you can see sort of a palette with all 5 fabrics that I was inspired by. And I took some little things and filled each pocket. So you could see there were some different colors mixed in there, but it's just artwork that's going into the journal. That was a painting that I did a while back, and just, I think there's a little piece in the last journal I showed you. And I was just sort of tired of the whole thing, so I ripped it up, and I'm using the pieces of paper in different journals. This is a tag. I think it was someone's military tag of some kind. And it was in my ephemera, so I just put that on a paper clip. There's one of the little pieces that Victoria sent to me recently in some Happy Mail. And this piece of lace was stitched to the outside. And if you don't stitch it to interfere with the pages, or, you know, you want it to move freely from page to page, so just stitch it on the outside. That can be a bookmark. Just more handmade paper and more of the cards. Love the mushroom card there. And this is just another little charm that I found. I don't remember where I got that charm. I think it was on something that I bought, something thrifted, I think. So it's just on a rusty paper clip, and there's just a little art drawing that ended up in this journal. Thank you for telling me about this moth. I think that sounds familiar. The person who, I have to go back and look at the comment, like a death head or something like that. Very interesting. So that's in here. I just cut the moth out. I just stitched around the moth with a zigzag stitch with the stitching really close together, and then cut it out. I actually sewed it to a heavy piece of canvas so it would keep its shape. This is a piece of paper that I made, and on this side you can see the fabric to make a pocket. And there's one of the old book pages from Victoria. I glued it to a piece of paper so that I have a journaling spot on the back. And this piece of fabric, you can see it has that torn paper that's sewn behind it. There's some of the lace, more of the fabric. And then here is another pocket, and there's the postcard, one of the postcards that Victoria sent to me. And this, of course, is where we did our sample stitching to show how to use a zigzag stitch. And then there's more handmade paper in this pocket here. So you can see I have some things in here to journal with and to work with, and then we get to the back. There's just some string there, different stitches. I will probably glue this piece down that's curling up. I'll just take some tacky glue and glue that down. I do like the raveled edge, but I don't mind if it curls a little bit, but I don't want it curled up quite so far. But I won't. I was going to say I won't do it right away, but let's just go ahead and take care of that. And this is similar to the tacky glue. This is the, well, it's called tacky glue, but it's the Beacon brand. It was just sitting here next to me. I wasn't going to worry about it right now, but then I saw this little container and said, okay, let's just do it now. Well, that is that journal. And if you hang around, I want to show you my garden. We will take a little walk around the loop in the backyard. Sometimes I take a morning walk with my coffee. And there are the May apples. They're really pretty this year, from Jason's grandmother, Walora. We have that little marker there. And I am noticing some bird feathers here. I wonder what that's about. And everywhere you look, there are cicada shells and cicadas, dead and alive. A little mushroom statuary and the compost. I love that we have a mossy path out here. I have heard that copperheads like to eat cicadas and to watch out for them while this is going on. I know there's been one in the yard before because of stories from people who used to live here or live next door. But I've never seen one. I know they're out here. And these trees are starting to bloom. I love this whole canopy along here. So pretty. And we have some gravel here because this is a really low area that gets soft. And I'm glad Jason added this because it can get kind of mushy actually. And then let's turn around and look back at this beautiful canopy of the trees. I love these. They smell good. And let's see if you can see the way the pine straw falls and just hangs. It's almost like a Christmas tree or something with tinsel in it. Okay, going back around, there's the wood pile, which we've burned a lot of in our fire pit. And we will just keep going back around the circle. And I will show you where, over near my greenhouse, let's just go this way. I'll show you the flowers that are blooming. I need to put some water in the blue bird bath. The crows really like that one. They bring the things that they find, scraps of food, and they sit on that really high bird bath. There goes a cicada. And they use the water to dip their food in it. Okay. I need to make a gate. I keep saying that. So far I'm just using this, which is fine. We have some moms that I recently kind of pinched off the edges or the ends so that they will get fuller. Hellebores, one of my favorites, and I will put those in the ground at some point. I just wanted to enjoy them before taking a chance on them because the deer eat everything. And we have some wildflowers, another hellebore back there, and potatoes. I need to put more soil on these. They were just completely covered about 2 weeks ago, maybe not even that long, and they've already broken through the soil again. So I will just keep covering, and hopefully we will have potatoes. And the tomatoes, and this plant was put into the large pot right away, and it's definitely growing up quickly. We have rosemary, and that came from a pack of wildflowers. And these little cottage pinks, I love these. Well, they're similar. I don't know if they're exactly cottage pinks. It's the same plant family. And here, so this mom, I should pinch it back some, but it's a tiny little plant. It looks like it's gonna bloom before too long. Not ready right now, but it's already got the buds on it. And I love my euphorbia. So glad I bought this. Gourds that I need to move to the ground. Thyme. Oregano. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Radishes. They're not doing much. Oh my gosh. A cicada just flew by me. Look at the shells everywhere. So the clover was gorgeous. I did not plant that there, but it was so beautiful. I could not rip it out. So I just left it, and it was so pretty. I wish you could have seen it when all the blooms were standing really tall. And my Ladybanks rose. It's doing really well. This is the second year. I planted it last year, so hoping it'll take off and grow up the arch for next year. There's some little peas. I'm trying to get them to grow up strings. And then when we get in here is a second tomato plant that's still sitting in the original container. I've got to get that and put it out in the ground. This lettuce has been amazing. It's a mix. It's cut back because I've been getting salads from that. Somewhere in here is a little mouse that I discovered this morning. So I don't want to end up terrified. I'm not really afraid of mice, but I don't want it to jump out and get me, scare me. And some wildflowers, those need to be put out in the yard. That's pretty. And so is that. Zucchini, that needs to go out. And that Swiss chard, I don't know how it's going to transplant. I'm hoping I can do it so that I don't lose these plants. That's a mustard mix. I wonder if I can put that in the ground. I think I'm going to expand my garden area to beyond the fence. Oh, and there's the beautiful sage and more oregano and mountain mint back there. The spiders crawl up in these jars sometimes and make webs. It's pretty neat. You can still hear the cicadas just roaring. But let's go out here to where a lot of bark has fallen. And there's the cryptomeria. Little hiding place in there. And we better watch for snakes as we're going along. Copperheads. I'm not worried about the little harmless snakes. There were a lot of brown snakes under here. This tree is dead and it's really leaning, so I don't like to get too close to it for very long. But there's some great mulch coming off of this tree. I guess we just found ants. Okay, bye for now.